I think it's flooded. Greetings, fellow interloper. Taylor here. It's been all the rage, the new, possibly unintended melee burst augment that arrived with the Expeditions update. Now, for those who haven't discovered this very efficient way to travel yet, let's go through it real quick. Essentially, you would do a normal melee burst and continue holding the melee button, which is right button on Xbox or R1 on PlayStation. From there, you just simply tap A or X to burst your jetpack. I usually go in a rhythm pattern. Really shines when you're traveling downhill. You know you're doing it correctly when your character stays in that sideways position, like my guy on the thumbnail of this video. Now, in many forums, I'm seeing people excited to completely replace their Exocraft with this new version of the melee burst. But is it completely warranted? Let's get into it. If we take a look at my jetpack setup, I have 3 S-Class upgrades in my tech area, as well as 3 S-Class upgrades in my normal area. When I was first setting this up, I was optimizing for initial boost. The highest this gets per module is 10%, but the rest of the stats are a little random, so this isn't a god tier setup or anything, but it's pretty good. I'd like to eventually max out tank size in all these to see how long I can go for. So we'll compare this to my Roamer, which is the fastest Exocraft I have. I've got 3 S-Class engine mods that give me 13, 14, and a 15% bump on top speed. I also have 3 S-Class boost mods that give me a bump of 58, 61, and 69% respectively. So it's not god tier, but pretty fast.
She's fast enough for you, old man.
So I've got 2 base computers about 1,000 U apart, labeled as point A and point B with a decidedly downward slope going from A to B. First up, let's do the jetpack burst. If you're moving from higher ground to lower ground, this is awesome because you can kind of pause a little bit and let the jetpack recharge. Alright, looks like about 16 seconds to go from A to B for the jetpack. And now we'll go uphill from B to A. It's not quite as simple, we have to go up a little bit to give us a little bit of clearance in order to do our lunge. And as you can see, it's not nearly as effective going uphill because when you're moving basically straight across, you're going to be running into a hill, so... Not the cleanest of runs here, but you've got to let their backpack recharge at some point, and you have no choice but to just sprint. Made a nice little run here across the valley, but again, you just run out of gas, even with, 6 S-Class upgrades. So after a clumsy run here, it looks like I'm going to be coming in right about 46 seconds, we'll say. So you don't need to be a White Goodman to know what the ideal situation is for this.
You caught me. I like to break a mental sweat too.
Alright, now we're going to dust off the Roamer to see what we can do from point A to point B. And I am just holding the boost down, so when it recharges, it'll automatically fire off. And it looks like we come in right about 30 seconds, so about twice as slow as the jetpack. That's going downhill. Now let's go the other way. Alright, so as expected, it's also 30 seconds, so it's very consistent. So that's a nice controlled experiment, but what about if you're collecting storm crystals? As you guys know, during storms, your jetpack gets a huge boost. So to test this out, we're going to stop by an extreme winter weather planet called Ice. Well played, Too Fresh 909. Alright, so we're going to give it a go and see how many crystals we can collect using both methods. We'll start off on foot first. It became pretty clear that I should have been chasing crystals downhill and avoiding the ones uphill. Alright, that's 14, and the footage was sped up, but it was about 4.5 minutes long. Something I never really even thought about before I did this experiment was that the storms aren't all a fixed length, so it really throws kind of a wrench into the experiment, but we'll try it with the Exocraft nonetheless. But 14 and 4.5 minutes, that's about $1.8 million worth of storm crystals. That's not bad. Alright, let's go with the Exocraft. And here, I was coming in a little hot, so I had to bail just in time. I literally almost cost myself about 260,000 units. Alright, and that's the end of that storm, which measured about 4 minutes 55 seconds, so yeah, a little bit longer than the other storm, and 1 extra crystal at 15. So not a clear advantage with the Exocraft. You get the hazard protection, but it's such a pain to have to scan for the next crystal when you're outside your vehicle. Wish you could scan while you're in your vehicle. Also, as you can see, you can destroy them if you get a little too close to them, so that's kind of a bummer. All in all, I think I'd rather have a well-equipped exosuit and just use the Jetpack burst when it comes to hunting storm crystals. In fact, for the Expeditions update, that's how I got all my money early, was just farming storm crystals with a pocket full of ion batteries that I had to use quite a bit of. But again, they're so cheap, and it was easy money. So let the record show, I'm a big fan of the Exocrafts. I'm rooting for them. But right now, between, the hovercraft, the Nomad, and the Roamer, those are really the only two I ever use. I love the look of the Pilgrim, but it's slower than the Roamer and it has just a fraction of the storage space. And speaking of storage space, that's the only reason I have the Colossus, is just extra storage. I just don't have a desire to take it out. And I love the Minotaur, the mech, but aside from just looking cool, I'd rather just jetpack around a planet of extreme weather with a pocket full of ion batteries than call him in. You still have to get out of your suit a lot of the time to collect certain things, so kind of defeats the purpose there. It just needs more functionality. If the Pilgrim's going to survive, other than just cosmetics only, we need to see a buff in its stats. I'd love to see that thing be like twice as fast as the Roamer. That would then give me a reason to use it, but right now, the lines are too blurred on a few of these Exocrafts, and it's just about cosmetics, so something I'd like to see HG kind of tweak in the future. Alright, enough rambling. I really appreciate you guys watching. This is Taylor with Whiskey Barrel Gaming, signing off.